Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, we go a step further with our plan to strengthen our border region. It is vital that we show up for these communities. So before I go into the details, I want to thank you, Executive Vice President Raffaele Fitto, for your skillful and tireless work on the eastern border regions. Thanks to you, we have today this start. Let me focus on 3 key areas that we want to discuss here today. The first is doubling down on security and defense. The second is, if possible, unlocking massive new investments to drive growth. And finally, of course, realizing the potential of local communities and the assets these communities have. So let me start with the first point, doubling down on security and defense. We all know communities and economies need security and they need stability to thrive. And this is, of course, especially important along our eastern borders. Europe has already taken historic steps towards building a defense union. So you all know we will mobilize up to 800 billion euros by 2030 for defense efforts. We have the Defence Readiness Roadmap to 2030. It sets very clear objectives and measurable timelines. But my message today is that Europe also has a laser-like focus on eastern border security. Because your security is vital for the whole of Europe. Therefore, almost 2/3 of the 150 billion euros available through SAFE, this is our joint procurement program that you all very well know, 2/3 are provisionally allocated to the 8 border countries that are represented here today. And then we have pan-European flagships like the Eastern Flank Watch and the Drone Defence Initiative. They will help secure specifically the eastern border regions. And we have our new drone action plan that will tackle the security threats from drones to rogue balloons. In addition, we are investing billions in military mobility in the border region so that, if necessary, troops and equipment can be deployed much more rapidly. And we will triple the funding at the border to secure the frontiers. This is the part we can do on our side. I know that you are doing a lot. The eastern border countries are playing their part without any question. The Helsinki summit, agreed last year between 8 Eastern European states, will certainly, with all the initiatives, boost regional security. So, dear Ilya, dear Kristen, dear Inga, dear Evika, thank you very much for being here today. I know that Romania, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia are also setting a great example of engagement. You have ramped up your investment in defense and military mobility impressively. And I've seen the ingenuity and the innovation in some of your drone factories that you host firsthand. All these measures help to improve security, but they also increase our competitiveness in this region. They create jobs, and of course they create a better infrastructure. Poland, for example, is developing a drone valley in the southeast. This area will be an important employer, and its products will also boost regional defense. Or take Lithuania. You are building a military base close to the Belarus border, and thanks to funding from the European Investment Bank, this base will host almost 5,000 military and civilian personnel, and of course, it will stimulate the local communities there at the border. And, crucially, it will reinforce the front line with Belarus. And with initiatives like these, we can turn the challenges that we face every day in the eastern border regions into opportunities. We can protect and we can stabilize our border regions, and this then, in turn, will lay foundation for lasting prosperity. And this brings me to my second point. A more secure environment can help us attract new investment. We need investment in these regions. And the border regions have significant assets. They have their forests. They have a strong agricultural sector. They have the availability of critical raw materials, just to name a few of these assets. And we all know by experience that these regions have a resilient population and a skilled workforce. So, in a situation where we have Russia's ongoing war, it means that the investors, the potential investors, need reassurance. And our reassurance is the following. Our solution is East Invest, a 20 billion euro financing mechanism specifically designed for the border regions. It brings together some of the biggest public and private funding sources in Europe. It includes the European Investment Bank and the EBRD, and I want to thank you, Nadia, explicitly for the excellent cooperation. And this public investment is joined by private sector banks and national leaders. So East Invest will offer targeted lending over the next 2 years, and this lending will tap into the region's potential with renewable energy, with agriculture, with forestry projects, just to name a few. And this will create new jobs, it will create new economic opportunities, and it will create prosperity. We already see some great examples. Latvia, for example, the Ivica, has developed a fiber optic valley in the southeast, where top quality products for medicine and science are exported around the world. Romania will produce critical medicines at the research center in Iași. And this high-tech plant will make innovative vaccines and antibiotics. Or take Estonia, Kristen, the cutting-edge magnet factory in the border town of Narva. It's phenomenal what they are producing. These projects show that we can build a new momentum, and these projects will unleash the full potential of our border communities. If I look at the leading tech sector development in Narva, this is amazing to see the magnets that have been produced, are being produced there. It's one of the most crucial sites because we know how difficult it is to access magnets, permanent magnets. If they are supplied from everywhere from the world, we are vulnerable. Here, it's homegrown potential that is improving. Strong commitment are the final key ingredients of our package. With the right support, Europe can help safeguard their future. And this is my third point. How we can realize the potential of local assets and communities. We have powerful financial instruments to invest in these regions, from cohesion to common agricultural policy. And our new plan will make sure that every cent will be spent where it matters. We have already made cohesion funds much more flexible, and we can see the difference now with the flexibility in the cohesion funds. There is, for example, a new cross-border healthcare service operated by Poland and Lithuania and supported by Europe. And this service makes screening much more accessible for those that cannot travel. We are also investing in digital upskilling so that local traders can use cohesion funding to upgrade their tools. So with today's plan, we can build a more prosperous future and more resilience for the eastern border regions, and they can be of an inspiration for the rest of Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, all of our border areas are unique. Each one faces immense challenges. But if we come together and channel our efforts, we can make a change and we can strengthen these communities. And that is what today's plan is all about. It's about working together to unleash the full potential of our eastern border regions. So I thank you very much for being here today with us, and I can only say, long live Europe. Thanks a lot.
We thank you for your speech.